Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, and in this video we're going to be comparing the Umidigi S3 Pro to the iPhone XS Max. Now I'm definitely aware that this comparison is certainly a wild one, especially considering that there is a massive price difference between these two devices. But that's kind of the purpose of the video here. The purpose is that I want to show you how the Umidigi S3 Pro at $299 compares to the iPhone XS Max, which is available for $1,099. So essentially you can buy 3 Umidigi S3 Pros for the price of 1 iPhone XS Max. So both of these devices are available factory unlocked, and they work with all major US carriers. Now, officially, the Umidigi S3 Pro works with all GSM carriers, but I was able to test the S3 Pro with Verizon and everything worked fine. And with the iPhone XS Max, it definitely works with every carrier. So for the most part, you're going to be getting great carrier compatibility with both devices. Now, both of these devices do have a notch at the top, but you can see that there definitely is a big difference here. With the Umidigi S3 Pro, it's a very small, non-intrusive teardrop notch. And with the iPhone XS Max, we have a larger, wider notch. By the way, that little chip there at the top is not a chip on the display, it's a chip on the screen protector. So I just wanted to let you know about that. The Umidigi S3 Pro features a 6.3-inch display, and the iPhone XS Max features a 6.5-inch display. You can see though that holding both phones up next to each other, they're about the same size, which is pretty interesting. I think you get the larger display size though with the iPhone XS Max because it does have smaller bezels. You can see especially on the bottom here that the bezels on the Umidigi S3 Pro are certainly a little bit thicker. But overall, I think both phones have a great design, they both look really good, and both devices feel very premium, and that's pretty remarkable considering how much cheaper the Umidigi S3 Pro is. Both devices feature 1080p displays, and they both look really good. I think that the iPhone XS Max certainly gets brighter. The iPhone XS Max isn't even on full brightness here, and you can already see it's brighter than the Umidigi S3 Pro. But with both of these phones, you're going to have a great experience with viewing video content, browsing the web, and doing anything that requires looking at the display. Now, the front-facing camera on the Umidigi S3 Pro is 20 megapixels, and the front-facing camera on the iPhone XS Max is 7 megapixels. Despite this massive difference in megapixel count though for these front-facing cameras, you're going to get way better camera performance with the iPhone XS Max. One of my favorite features with the front-facing camera on the iPhone XS Max is that it has portrait mode. And while there is a bokeh effect mode on the Umidigi S3 Pro, that is limited to the rear-facing camera, and you cannot get that with the front-facing camera. So maybe in an update in the future, we might get that ability on the Umidigi S3 Pro, but at the moment, you cannot take photos with the bokeh mode with the front-facing camera. Internally, the Umidigi S3 Pro has 128 gigabytes of storage with the ability to expand that with a microSD card. And with the iPhone XS Max, we get half the amount of storage and no microSD card expansion. Now, with the Umidigi S3 Pro, there is no wireless charging. You do get wireless charging with the iPhone XS Max, and it's a feature that I use all the time. There is a fingerprint sensor on the Umidigi S3 Pro on the back here, but there is no fingerprint sensor on the iPhone XS Max. Instead, you have to use Face ID to unlock your device if you don't wish to use a PIN code. Now, the Umidigi S3 Pro also has a face unlock feature, but it's not as sophisticated as the Face ID on the iPhone XS Max, as it uses a totally different technology to identify your face. Both phones feature dual cameras on the back. With the Umidigi S3 Pro, we get a 48 megapixel main camera here. It's actually designed and created by Sony, and a 12 megapixel secondary camera. And on the iPhone XS Max, we get dual 12 megapixel cameras on the back side here. Now, for my personal testing, I've also noticed that the cameras on the iPhone XS Max are way better than the cameras on the Umidigi S3 Pro. So just pointing that out. It is cool though that you get portrait mode on both of these devices, and the portrait mode on the Umidigi S3 Pro actually works really well. The Umidigi S3 Pro features 6 gigabytes of RAM, and the iPhone XS Max features 4 gigabytes of RAM. With the Umidigi S3 Pro, we're getting a MediaTek Helio P70 processor, and with the iPhone, we're getting an Apple A12 Bionic processor. So the processor on the iPhone is definitely way faster and way more capable than the processor on the Umidigi S3 Pro. But the cool thing is that both of these devices will play games like PUBG Mobile really well. So you do still get quite a few capabilities with the Umidigi S3 Pro. Video recording on the S3 Pro maxes out at 1080p at 30 frames per second. And with the iPhone XS Max, you can take video at 4K at 60 frames per second. So dramatically better video recording capabilities with the iPhone. The S3 Pro's battery is rated at 5,150 milliamp hours of capacity, and the battery on the iPhone has 3,179 milliamp hours of capacity. So you're getting way more battery capacity with the Umidigi S3 Pro. And finally, on the software side, we're getting Android 9 Pie with the Umidigi S3 Pro, and with the iPhone, we're getting iOS 12. Now, these are totally different operating systems, of course, but both run really nice and smooth on both devices, and I feel like both Umidigi and Apple have done great jobs at optimizing the software to work with the hardware. Now that we've gone over the specifications of these two devices, let's now dive into the hardware itself. So we kind of already went over the front here, so we get a 6.3-inch display with the Umidigi S3 Pro and a 6.5-inch display with the iPhone XS Max. You can see holding these two devices up next to each other, they're pretty much the same size. And you do get a little bit more screen real estate, of course, with the iPhone XS Max, since it technically has a larger display. Taking a look at the left side of these two devices, on the S3 Pro, we have the slot for the microSD card and the SIM card. And on the iPhone XS Max, we have the mute toggle switch and the volume rockers. Taking a look at the right side of these two devices, on the S3 Pro, we have the volume rocker and the power button. And on the iPhone, we have the power button, which is also the Siri activation button. And we have the slot for the SIM card. On the top side of these two devices, on the S3 Pro, we have the noise canceling microphone, and on the iPhone XS Max, we have nothing. On the bottom of the S3 Pro, we have the speaker, the USB Type-C port for charging and data transfer, the microphone, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the iPhone, we have the speaker, microphone, and the lightning port for charging and data transfer. On the back side of these two devices, on the Umidigi S3 Pro, we have the camera module, flash, and fingerprint sensor. And on the iPhone, we have the dual cameras, the flash, the Apple logo, and the iPhone logo. So what I like about both of these devices is that they both have a really premium design. So on the Umidigi S3 Pro, we have a ceramic material here on the back, and on the iPhone, we have glass. Now this is the rose gold color of the iPhone, and this is the black color of the S3 Pro. I think both look really good. Of course, they don't really look similar, but what's nice is that both devices have a metal rail that goes along the sides here. You can see they both have kind of a bump out camera. And overall, there's a lot of design similarities between these two phones. Both devices look extremely premium, and I will say that the S3 Pro certainly doesn't feel like a third of the price of the iPhone XS Max. Let's now do a speed test between these two devices. The first thing we're going to do is start up the camera app. So 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the iPhone is slightly faster at starting up the camera. Let's now start up Google Chrome. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the iPhone XS Max was faster at starting up Google Chrome. Let's now go to yahoo.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And in that test, it looks like the Umidigi S3 Pro is quicker at starting up Yahoo. Let's go to engadget.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the iPhone XS Max is a little bit quicker at starting up Engadget. Let's go to this article. 1, 2, 3, go. And the iPhone was faster at starting up the article. So overall, you cannot deny that the iPhone XS Max is faster than the Umidigi S3 Pro. Now that was no surprise, and I already knew that going into this video. However, it is interesting to see how well the Umidigi S3 Pro does manage to keep up with the iPhone. Overall, I don't think there's a huge difference in performance. Of course, the iPhone is going to perform better, but it is quite remarkable how well the Umidigi S3 Pro performs, despite it being so much cheaper than the iPhone XS Max. So let me know down below in the comment section which of these two devices you would buy. Do you think it's worth paying the extra money for the iPhone XS Max? Or do you think you're best off going with the Umidigi S3 Pro and saving some money? I'd love to know your thoughts, so let me know. But thanks for watching this video. Make sure to sub to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody, and have a great day.